everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd do a preview of this Star Trek ship and then cover some things that have changed on it as well since the last video I did on it. But my plan is to kind of look over the body, show you a few changes, and then take it up into space and take a walk through on the interior. And of course, let me know if you see anything that comes to mind, whether something you see is messed up or some idea. I'm not really willing necessarily to do anything super major at this point, but if something comes to mind that I'm missing or a good idea or anything, please leave it in comments. But other than that, I think I got this thing done. I should knock on wood here, but I have this feeling that I'm missing something somewhere, and I'm not sure what it is. And maybe it's unfounded feeling. I don't know. But anyway, the last video I was talking about the hull material and the CPU usage and the fact that the original setup required 16 quantum cores as well as 10 auxiliary cores, and basically the quantum cores went over the maximum allowed by 6, which was pretty significant. So I had to cut down the CPU quite a bit on the ship to make it work. And messing with that, I decided to cut some of the XL thrusters from it, actually 6 of them, which made the ship slower. And I was kind of worried about that, and I was half tempted to switch the hull to carbon substrate, which I didn't really want to. Currently it has, it's built of steel, and it has some Xeno backing in various places. Not a lot of Xeno backing, but some. And the more I thought about it, the more I didn't want to switch it all to carbon. So I left it, and I've been flying it around a little bit in space and things, and I'm like, the specs aren't quite where I wanted them to be at emotion-wise, but it's not bad either. It's not horrible. But what I did with that, and thinking that, well, there is ways to acquire even more CPU in game through an advanced CPU core, NPCs. If you're on certain servers, there might be other perks. The server that I've been playing on has hamster cores, which is something very unique to that server. But there's typically some more ways that you could add some more CPU to the ship. So since I removed all the thrusters, I was like, well, I need to build in access areas on the in these nacelles so you could put the thrusters back in place if you wanted to, if you got the CPU for it. So what I did do is I installed these little bays in here that basically have the big XL thruster ports on the inside. So you could essentially add the thrusters back into the ship, and it's got one for strafing, another one for lift, and another one for your forward thrust. And this back one also has these rear Wi-Fi units. So that is a change that was done. Some other little tweaks and changes on the body. Just a lot of cleanup and things like that. I changed this whole ramp coming in, so it actually sits down a block lower now, and it does go all the way to the ground like it should. It has this little flange or something, I guess you can say, on the bottom, but I really don't mind that. Actually, I don't think it looks really too out of place, and it fixes the problem of the ramps not going down to the ground when it's parked on the ground. So other than that, I'm trying to think of any other body changes that I did. A lot of texture cleanup and things like that, but I think that was about it for the body. I did rig all the doors and everything up on this. Now, one thing I have not gotten to yet, and I've got these 2 little test SVs for dimensions. I wanted to build a SV that is a captain's yacht that would actually park in the door over here. Oh, speaking of this door over here, I did change this around, or added a little bit more to it. Essentially speaking, when you get near this thing, it puts in this LCD. Now, this isn't necessarily one of my more favorite LCDs. It does the job. I might try to spiff it up a little bit before I do get it to the workshop. But essentially, when you're flying in SV, even if you're in first person, you should be able to like pull your nose right up to this arrow and kind of center it, and then go straight up from there. And that should securely puts you into the captain's yacht docking area, which is it's a little tougher mounting on this, but you do have to have a top mount SV for this, and it can't be larger than the test model down over there. And even this is pushed forward a little bit, so it's got a little bit of a leeway gap in case you're a little bit through the LCD or whatnot. It should still allow you to park up in here. And from what I can tell, even parking this contraption down here, it actually is not too terribly difficult. This is certainly not a very nice SV here, but just demonstrating that. If I were to, here I'll just kind of back away and try to go through the docking procedure. And this is kind of going with the maximum size too. So this one I have to be really accurate with when I'm parking this in here. And right now I'm having a hard time judging where the front of this ship is. But, and I don't even think this thing can fly normally. Hold on, I'm going to have to change my view. I guess this LCD works pretty good if your nose was right up near there where you could kind of judge where you are. But here, I'll turn a little bit here too, so I'm straight. And here, we'll go back in here. Let's see what happens if I just try to pull this up. I might be a little off-centered, but not enough to cause it a problem. So it was actually not too terribly difficult to dock in here, and I was really worried about that too, because usually docking in a situation like this is kind of rough. So the way I got this set up though is you come into the ship forward, and then you'd when you undock, you'd kind of want to drop down and then turn to the one side or the other and fly away. So I think that would be the easiest way to dock, and then you don't need like a special cockpit facing the on the back of whatever creation it is, and it simplifies the whole thing. So there is that. These other ones are pretty straightforward on docking, and I do have a test SV for that too, or measuring SV, I guess you could say. This one was pretty easy to dock. Again, very straightforward on just kind of like line up to that. I didn't really add LCDs to guide you in these smaller doors, but it does work. Well, anyway, I'll just fly into a little cockpit over here a second, and we'll take this out to space, and you can kind of see the general motion of this flying around too. It has 0 power problems. It has 2 fusion reactors in this thing, and even if you add those other thrusters or anything else that might need more power, you don't need to add any generators to this. It does have some places to add generators in the ship, and that's purely if you wanted some backup power or something like that. I'm really tight on CPU, that's why I didn't actually slop in more generators there, but it can do it. Now, it does have running lights and things too. I did finish the LCD work in a couple rooms, several rooms actually, so I'm fairly happy about that. So here, let me just level this thing out a minute, and we'll go take a walk through here. I think I'll start at the bottom of the ship, and you can kind of see these texture lights in the nacelle area too were brightened up a little bit more than what they were. I've been just a lot of little tweaking here and there and everywhere, running lights in various places on the ship and things like that going on now too. I know depending on lighting conditions, because it's using a lot of structural frame blocks, you're going to see some discolored blocks here and there, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just like what you see going on here. In the right lighting, you wouldn't see a color difference, but when you're in space, you do see a bit of a color difference between various areas there. So that is the one thing that kind of bugs me, but again, it's unfixable. It's unless I trash all the structural frame blocks, and I can't do that. So I'm kind of stuck with it. So anyway, we got some little thingies that were added in, little lighty things and stuff to add a little more atmosphere to it. So before we go through everything, I just wanted to go over the CPU specifications currently on here. It is using 10 aux cores and 10 quantum cores. I'm going to strip those out of the ship before I release it. You're going to have to add your own. If I do keep them in there, the ship's going to show in red no matter what I do. And it's not that it has illegal parts. It's just these are meant to add in game and not in to be placed for the workshop essentially. So It will be lacking all its quantum and auxiliary cores and will need a lot of CPU before the ship is operational. Quite a lot of CPU. So I did have to, unfortunately, strip a couple advanced constructors away from the hangar bay over here, which really sucks too. This is a structural frame block that I can't paint a different color, and this, I thought I had painted this and fixed this already, but I guess not. These are these little things that I've been kind of messing with, and like I can't actually match this color to that color. It's, believe it or not, impossible. So little things like that, no big deal. I did get all most of the cargo systems labeled on the inside. I do have one thing I do have left to do here, is go over and probably name a lot of this stuff. These are all the random things throughout the ship. All the main things, even some of the main cargo boxes, are all labeled in here. Like production box, these are all in the production room. You do have the 640K input and 640K output, and then quite a lot of cargo bays in here as well. 6 ammo bays. I'm sorry, 4 ammo bays. Where did I get 6 from? 8 320K cargo bays, and then of course your 2 big 640K bays for your input and output. And again, I'll probably try to name some of this miscellaneous stuff that's scattered throughout the ship, mainly as decoration, before I release the ship here. So anyway, the hangar, pretty straightforward. It's a hangar. Got a bit of a med bay over here. This is one other little thing I was thinking about trying to make a little prettier. It's got the stuff. Actually, it's missing a part now, isn't it? Oh, man. I keep on making these mods to things in various places, and sometimes I seem to blow away a part, like I'm missing one of the 4 medical pieces right now. So I'll have to get that in place, too. So note to self, fix the hangar med bay. I added some LCDs even to these back elevators over here. So like this is the rear hangar and this med bay aux production. That's what I'm calling this area over here. You do have a main production room up in the saucer section of the ship. And then you've got the elevator here, this saucer access, which basically you've got some hallways that run alongside of the hangar and get up into the storage room here, which honestly there's nothing in here. But you could put stuff in there, I guess. You know, it's one of those weird spots on the ship. I didn't exactly know. Didn't really have any parts I needed to place. So this gets you to the main elevator of the ship. We're in the shield bays area right now, and this is where the main engineering room, well, one of the engineering rooms are, that holds the 6 large shields and 8 small shields. The 8 small shields are kind of on the outer walls of this room. And yeah, this is a pretty straightforward room over here. It does have a little bit of visibility coming in through that hangar area, but I don't want to go too far that way yet. Let me get back over. Okay, so we have this room too. I do intend on adding a couple LCDs to say that this is a multi-function room, and that's exactly what it is. This is just that weird room above the hangar, and I try to make it a little bit prettier than what it was last time I showed it. But again, it's just the idea of this room is, depending on the mission, if you're going to do, obviously this is fiction, but if you're going to do humanitarian missions or some special operation, you need to take refugees in or something, you could outfit this room for that. And it's basically, it has pretty much direct landing pad access. So you could park a ship in there and walk, refugees or whatever down into the multifunction room, which is kind of separated from the main ship, essentially. So anyway, let's go back to the hangar. And on the front side of the hangar, of course, you got your main elevator. But if you pass through that, there's a kind of smallest room over here. It's just got a quickie cockpit in case you're down in the hangar here and you need to suddenly fly the ship around. There's actually quite a few different places to fly the ship around, 4 different locations on the ship where you could gain control of that. Up in front of here, you do have the one of the front Wi-Fi's, or well, it's not even the front. It's more of the where the deflector is Wi-Fi. So if we go down from here. Then we get into the boarding ramp. So it does have a front boarding ramp access, which lines up to the ground as well. So you got a way on the ship from the ground on the front and the back of the ship. If you leap with a jetpack, there's a couple side doors from the hangar you can also get into from space. And then it has a storeroom back here. Now this contains one functional part, and that's a gravity generator. Other than that, it's just another one of these rooms that is just pretty much open. I did try to beautify this a little bit more, but also didn't want to go too crazy with the block work on here because I was trying to watch the size class a bit too. And then we're right back over here. This little function room does have a shower and a toilet, and it does have an armor locker right above here as well, and O2, and a med base, and a box. And these are some of these boxes I did want to label in various rooms, but just a boarding ramp room. So we'll go past here, and let's go up to the next floor. So oxygen room. This is the extra generator room, and I don't have any generators populating it, but I mean, if you ever needed to add a generator, and I could actually see the use, especially for like a smaller 1x3 generator in here. Say you shut down the main fusion reactors, and then you have this smaller generator operating the farms and things while the thrusters are off. Of course, if you try to fly the ship, the fusion reactors off, it's gonna cause problems, a lot of problems. So you don't want that to happen. So other than that, yeah, pretty much basic room. It doesn't really get into the elaborate rooms till we get up into the saucer for the most part. So coming up into this area, we've got our large shield bay and small shield bays and the hangar passage. That's these walkways that I already kind of showed. That actually, no, it's not. This is, if you follow those elevators all the way from the hangar, it will lead you here, which gets you to the main elevator. And then up here, yeah, we already looked at this area. So let's go up and, well, actually, yeah, and we looked at the shield room here. So let's go up another deck here. Most of these signs are all on this side of the elevator, except I had to put that one on the other side because I had doors off to either side. So here we've got our core room area, system core 9. I call that, sounds techie. Quantum aux room and maintenance. So over here, this is the main core room. This contains the core 9 CPU blocks, which will remain in the ship. However, I will yank out the quantum and auxiliary cores out of this room. You have quite a few more spaces to add more beyond the 20. So if you got some hamster cores or some other things, you got a place to put it. Keep in mind, this room does have this is one of the areas of the ship that does have some xenoblocks in the area along this front wall over here, even though this is kind of pushed back into the ship a little bit. You can actually, this floor kind of extends out a little bit. There's not much going on here. There is a specialized area that lets you walk below the fusion reactors on either side over here. And in case you fry yourself on that, you got a very convenient shower there to try to cool off a little bit. If you take the doorway going the other way, this kind of loops around this deck, and you can see this is in front of the core room. This is just some fluff work over here, trying to look technical, but there's not really anything going on there. But basically a xeno wall behind all this stuff here, just trying to help protect the really expensive cores that the ship will need. So again, it's a shield dependent ship though, despite the xeno blocks or the steel hull, which isn't all that much anyway. You're really not meant to be engaging targets when your shield's offline, so it's just not for that. The front side would be a little tougher, be able to handle probably some hits before you had any problems. There's no real parts on the front side of the ship. This would be the closest area, and I'm actually near the middle of the ship where I'm at right now, and not really at the front of the ship. It's just the front of the lower part of the ship, I guess you could say. So going up to the next floor, or deck, deck 4, we got our fusion reactors and medium shield bays. So there's a door off the back side of this one here, and this is where the actual fusion reactors sit, and you can see that walk path that kind of walks underneath them from the lower floor. Then you've got 8 medium shield parts in this room. They're obviously a balanced mix between those, and you got 4 in the center area of the room, and then you got another 4 on either side of the room over here. And that's kind of how this room is set up. I did have to plug in some random LCDs on the floor because I had to get a lot of LCDs in weird places that I was having trouble finding locations to add LCDs at. So I did use this floor space for a little bit of LCDs. I don't think it would cause any issues whatsoever, though. Hopefully not. So that's all that's on deck 4. Deck 3, really close to deck 4. We got our captain's yacht, officer rooms, and recreation area here. So this is, kind of more of a fancier area, place to chill and have parties and things like that. You do have some crew rooms off to one side over here. These are the officer rooms on the signs. They're not very big, but they're private. There's other crew rooms that are more, for a whole bunch of crew members at once. But these are isolated and have their unique stuff in there. And then, now something else this thing can do is, although none are installed right now, you can add a 24 small and 24 large solar panels to the ship. So 48 total solar panels. Around some of these decks, near the front of the saucer on different decks, there's rooms like this. They're usually pretty crappy looking, and there's a lot of reasons why they're crappy looking. First, I didn't really want to waste much size class. Second, a lot of these rooms have some things I can't paint due to structural frame blocks or turrets or other things. So over here's like, this would be large solar panel 23 and 24. You could put in an offline protection if you wanted to. I don't know if anybody uses those, but it does have a kind of a location for that. And if we go across the hall over here, we've got our little recreation area, kind of like some sort of Trekkie racquetball thing, and a little swimming pool over here. Got to have it. Of course, I wanted to add a little bit more to the area, but I'm sort of trying to watch the size class. If I get time, I may try to make an LCD for this, but my time is running out, at least according to when I want to release this thing. And then, of course, the captain's yacht itself, which I got that contraption parked in here right now. This is pretty much automated. There's no switches or levers in this ship besides for the grow plot lights. So everything's kind of sensor based, and this will automatically open up. It puts on the LCD guidance over there, a couple little flashy red light thingies, and you got some boxes over here. I do have to label these as the captain yacht boxes, and then a little bit of utility over here. Of course, you got your med bay and O2 as soon as you come in. But that's pretty much it for the captain's yacht area. A couple more boxes along the front side. I have these blocks extending out over the floor here, not because I wanted to, but there's a structural frame block down below there that I couldn't paint, and it looked ugly. So I basically, these blocks are only here to cover that up, basically. So there's some areas like that in the ship where I just had to bury something on purpose. And of course, these doors just go back into the crew areas there. So if we get up to deck 2 here, this is our saucer main. Now this deck is by far the largest deck of the ship. It's pretty expansive here. So as soon as you get to the top of this elevator, you're kind of in your area where I expect the players to be most of the time in the ship. This is where your main production area is. Now, unfortunately, I did have 8 small constructors in this room in the center area, and I had to pull all those due to CPU usage. So it's just kind of open, but obviously you got room. You could add some more stuff in there if you want. Pick whatever you want to put in there. And if you, anyway, you could fit some more parts there. These are these boxes that are the production boxes, and there's 8 of those kind of right in front of the constructors. It is running 6 advanced constructors. I currently have 2 deconstructors in here. I don't know if that's overkill a bit on deconstructors, but it's there. And then you've got your 2 biggest, your input bay and your output bay. They're kind of color coded, and so are these boxes over here. You notice how the red LCDs versus the blue LCDs. I don't know why I did that. It was just for the heck of it, I guess, to mix it up a little bit, add a little something, I guess. And yeah, a lot of boxes in this general area over here too. So the production room. So I'll start at the center here, and then we'll walk up the outer saucer section. Then we've got our farm complex over here. I did get all the filler grow plots in place. And then we have our main grow lights. Now these grow lights cover a whole row at once. So pretty big area of grow lights will go through the room. There's 3 different switches for the 3 different lanes of grow plots in the area. So quite a bit of farm plots. I forgot the exact total number of grow plots in the ship, but there's quite a lot. And then if you walk through the front room here, then we've got our, I deem this, according to my label over here, as the pentaxid enrichment area. So basically, I didn't need to put in filler blocks because I actually had a real floor below this room. So you can populate this however you want to. It's primarily meant for pentaxid, try to make it look a little pentaxidy. And then, of course, once the purple lights and stuff are on, it kind of makes it look more pentaxidy. I guess you could say. And then you got a little observation going along the outer deck here, or the outer hallway around this whole center structure. Moving on over here, we've got our next thing over here, just a utility thing. When you're in your main area there, you got your armor locker and armor repair. Little chill out place there. Then we've got to have our sick bay. So this is more of the full med bay section here. It's got some beds in there, plus all your normal medical stuff. And of course, you got to have your toilet, your shower over in the corner, that kind of fun thing. Going down the hallway a little further, just kind of a lot of open space over here. I didn't really know what to put here. Then we got our holodeck, and obviously this is very much about fluff. Now, in comments in the past, it was mentioned that maybe I was complaining that you could see through the white LCD on the front, and someone suggested that maybe I double that white LCD up, and I did do that. It did help. As you can see, you don't see through it as much. You can see a little something through there, but it's a lot more dimmed out than what it was before. So this is the Vulcan High Council holodeck. And this was a lot of fun to build. It took a little while, but it was definitely trying to use a different texture, color scheme in this. And my the tricky thing was I used a lot of LCDs to try to simulate that this room is actually on planet Vulcan before it was destroyed. This is supposed to simulate like a very arid, dusty, foggy type of outside. Obviously, you can't see through that because it's just LCDs and everything's kind of faked out here. But the whole idea with the Vulcan High Council is, you'd come up and talk to the council members, stand on this platform here, and then you would have your 3 High Council members you would say your piece and work out whatever is going on with that meeting. So that's kind of what this room's about. It's got a little side room over here for guests and sitting and whatnot. Again, a lot of fun to build this room. It took a little while, but it was just, I wanted something kind of unique. It gets very boring doing the same theme over and over and over again, so it is a lot of fun to just kind of mix things up, and this was a good excuse to mix some things up, essentially. So if we walk right through here, we get out to the hallway that also is going to link and wrap around the whole this floor of the saucer. And we have our cafeteria up front here. And guys, if you see anything wrong with some of my namings, I know a lot of my naming's probably not Star Trek lingo. And so if you see something, let me know. I could probably make I can certainly make some adjustments to some of these LCDs and maybe change the names of some of the stuff. But yeah, this is basically the cafeteria. This is supposed to be a little like food or some kind of replicator terminal. So people will just go up there, pick what they want to eat, print it out for them one way or another, and you sit down and munch. Now, with the main core of the ship, currently I have it here. Now, it was kind of suggested in comments to have it so, like, say your shields did go down and you're going to get, hit. This is kind of right in the front. It does have a steel block and then a xeno block, and then it gets to the core. But keep in mind, there's no parts. There's no useful parts anywhere in the area. In fact, you could get most everything blown up and you're really not going to be affected by that. It's that midship, the neck area, that's the most vulnerable to catastrophic explosions, being where a lot of the fusion reactors and shield parts and other pieces are. So that would be the most vulnerable area of the ship. The saucer, it's big. It's got a lot of space on its size. So that's one of the things there. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Let's move on from here. Now, I'll walk around the top side. There's a lower section here too. A lot of these rooms along this front of the saucer have to do with solar panels and things like that. And actually, I'll start there. So you're going to see some more rooms all over the place, like this one over here, which is subs to hold large solar panel 20 through 23, or I'm sorry, 22. And there's like one like that on the other side. There's a various number of solar panels around the area, but also on this deck there is some crew spaces. These are the more mass or your mass crew areas, so they'll have a lot of beds. Maybe some of the equipment is doubled up a little bit, maybe, but you have your shower and toilet and all the fun stuff. And this actually walks through to another crew room on the other side. But then you've got this is one of the large solar panel room. Again, this is a large solar panel 1 through 8. And then it goes down into another crew room over on the other side, a little different layout on this one. I try to mix them up a little bit so they weren't the same on either side. But yeah, not a whole lot going on in there. In the front here, we have our front gravity generator located there. Now, gravity's solid through the ship too. I've been testing that. So you can walk anywhere on the ship, in the ship, and not start floating in space. So that's always a bonus. Next part, yeah, more solar panel rooms. Some of these areas I just can't paint, like this is the back of a shower, stuff like that. So I didn't really put a lot of effort into these solar panel rooms to beautify them, but they're almost impossible to do that with due to so many of the problems in those areas. So before I walk around that way, I'll take this bottom path here. I can't do anything about the flooring in here. I really want to paint it just blue carpet, but there's a big old turret sitting right here and I can't paint it. So I had to kind of whiten that area up here. There's a couple rooms. These are, again, some kind of trash rooms. I was half tempted to just fill this in. I can't paint the floor over here, which sucks. It was supposed to be a crew room, but I was trying to, watch the size class, and I was like, And since I can't paint the floor, I thought it looked so ugly. Now it's just kind of a storage room with nothing in it. Maybe I should do something with that. I don't know. Over here, more solar panel rooms. Again, there's solar panel rooms all over the place. Here's another one. I do have some Wi-Fi locations. All the Wi-Fi in the ship you can manually get to, I believe, too. I don't think I have any Wi-Fi that are buried, but they might be in weird places like that in some cases. So let's go on the upper way, and we'll just kind of walk this through. And this walks kind of around. Obviously, you can access the farm over here again from this side. We do have a brig out in this section. Just give me one sec here. Sorry about that. And our brig stuff. Oh, that reminds me. I was going to replace these with LCD laser walls. Because essentially speaking, if you walk in here, you wouldn't have any oxygen. That's why. And this actually goes out to where you these other small SV bays on either side of the ship here. This one directly connects to the brig in case you're bringing in wildly people. Sorry guys, my voice is really going out here. Bad. So we got a little fuel room over here, some boxes. Back over here, oh, I got to label this room. Oh, I did on this side. I guess that's good enough. Yeah, here's our warp drive room. So basically your warp drive, this is a 60 light year warp drive. And you got a pentaxid tank right there. Moving on from there, we have our ammo bays right back over here. There's 4 different ammo bays. All 320s. Then we have our secure bridge. And I did get this rigged up now too. So yeah, basically secure bridge, just like the Proxima had, and almost has the same setup too. I really like that setup on the Proxima, where you could come in right from the back of the saucer, and there's like a blast door here, and then another airtight door. There is a little bit of xenoblocks in the area as well to just harden it up a little bit, but yeah, you got 8 passenger seats and a captain seat out in this area. New LCD kind of made to fit in this room over here. Same idea as a lot of the other LCDs with the VR mode thing, which isn't really true, but you do hit the V key and then you're in third person. And then some utility right around the secure bridge too. When you're coming in from the backside, you got your O2 and your med bay, and on the other side there is your shower and toilet. You gotta have that nearby. And if we keep on going on this way, then we've got the next room here is a main shield room. So yeah, big room for holding a shield, but this is one of the 4 gravity generators in the ship as well. There's one in the back of the ship, 2 in the center section, kind of spread apart a little bit, and 1 in the front of the ship, and that covers all the gravity around the ship. And then we kind of come up along the back side of the production area, and then into the other hangar area here. Now these hangar areas, I have them triggered right now with sensors, so as soon as you walk near this door over here, it automatically opens up the door. Same thing when you fly in from outside. This one you could walk in from either side, kind of like the other side as well. And then there's I think there's a couple just random miscellaneous rooms like this one here, kind of unfurnished. Again, I was trying to watch the size class, but it's just like this could be a crew room, I suppose, or something, but I didn't really designate it as anything right now. So it's just a room, another little closet room over here that doesn't really have much going on. This was larger, and I filled it up with a lot of cargo extensions when I was expanding the input and outputs from 320s to 640s previously. So let's come through here. So this is the bridge overpass here. This is a quick way when you're down in production, which again I feel you'll probably spend a lot of time on the ship in this general area, that this is a kind of I call it a hack elevator that will get you right up to the main bridge of the ship and the first person bridge of the ship quicker than going all the way back to the elevator there and then going up. So it's kind of like a shortcut. And that's really its only function there. So, all right, so let's go up another deck here. Go up to the bridge deck. So obviously we could have walked up there a different way as well. So once you get up here, there's not a lot in the bridge deck. It does have the captain's quarters. And maybe I should get rid of some of this authorized personnel lingo on some of these LCDs I got laid out. I don't think that's really a thing here. So captain's quarters, a little bit different styling again. I ran out of colors on my color palette this time, so I had to kind of use some colors from other things for the room. I just wanted it a little bit different. So you got your bedroom and your toilet and all that fun stuff, and place to invite some crew members over for dinner and discuss your mission plans. On the other side of this, we got our science lab. And its whole objective is to try to look sciencey. So it's got some sciencey looking things around it, little containment tank over here, and some things. The regular stuff. So if we walk around obviously the bridge is up through here. These hallways here kind of lead to some more solar panel rooms. And there's a lot of those around the saucer. Here's like small solar panels 15 through 18 in this general area. And then there's a big one, I think, up in the front middle here. I did modify this area as well because I needed to put LCDs for the main display in the bridge, which I'll show next. Here's another solar panel room. This one's a little bit more extensive for the small solar panels. Doing 1 through 14 out in this room over here. And then, of course, another solar panel room over here, with the small solar panels again up to the 24 mark there. And this is just another way back into the science lab coming through here. So then the main bridge, All right, and here's our hack elevator. So if you took that elevator coming up from production, would lead you right up this elevator shaft here, which kind of intercepts the walkway into the main bridge. And then we got, of course, the main bridge. So this here, I tried to decorate a little bit more. I worked out a LCD here on the front display. Um, and it's kind of where I'm at. All of these are triggerable things. These are all line up to P menu options in the ship. So like drone defense, artillery cannons. If we turn some of this stuff on, it pops in the LCDs here. So you can kind of see what's going on with that. Some of these will say active, some will say online. I think some even say deployed, like for the artillery cannons, like deployed. So a little heads up display there, knowing so you know what systems are online here. And I've got more options. I could add more to this LCD. I've got on this room right in front of it here. You can kind of see where I've got the LCDs positioned for all this. And I do have like one vacant spot over here where I could put in a whole nother LCD. This whole big frame is actually only one LCD, and everything else is the other LCDs are just these toggle things you can toggle on or toggle off. But that is pretty much the bridge. This thing has a lot of passenger seats on it, so if you want to take a whole bunch of your closest buddies, you can do that. Even in the main bridge here, I think there's somewhere around 11 passenger seats. Even in the secure bridge in the back, there's 8 passenger seats, and there's some more passenger seats, I think, in a couple other places in the ship. Now, if you take this hack elevator straight up one more floor, you've got quick access going right out of the ship on the top side of the elevator here. It's got a little arrow now to tell you about that. And then you have a first-person bridge. There's not much going on in here, but it does give you a actual first-person viewable window right off the top of the bridge area. There's a little switch on the side to close that ramp in front of it. But yeah, if you want to fly the ship around in first person, this is a place to do it. Plus, it's got a little utility here as well. So I think that is the full interior tour of the ship, and kind of going over a lot of the specifications there. Again, you can add a whole lot of solar panels to this ship, 48 solar panels to give it that residual power, I guess you could say. In Reforged Eden, they do not have to have sunlight visibility or access, so they can be buried inside a hull of a ship and they work just the same. As in its weapon loadout. Now I think I've got, let me make sure I got all the different guns deployed here. Red alert, I haven't done too much with. It does add a couple of spinny red lights in the bridge area and the sound of the red alert. I might add a couple more of those before it's said and done, though. I'm not sure on that one. Again, I was trying to watch the size class. So the weapon loadout on here is we got our different groups, but the overall weapons is running 10 advanced laser cannons, 16 retractable positron turrets, 12 missile turrets, 12 artillery cannons, 7 minigun turrets. We got some sentry guns. There's 7 different sentry guns throughout the ship, and then of course you got your long-range radar. Total build time on the creation here is 32 hours and 8 minutes. Obviously, it's probably going to drop down once I pull out the quantum and auxiliary cores from this. And again, it's very high usage on Estrium and Zirconium and things like that. And obviously, it's running 6 large shield parts. 4 of those are for banks, 2 of them are for chargers, and then it's running 8 medium and 8 small shield parts, which are a balanced mix in conjunction with 2 fusion reactors, which are both a shield boost. So it actually works out really good. I like this setup quite a bit for like getting into the big shield kind of things. And the shield, when it's all said and done, 183,000 shield on it, and it charges relatively decent too. It doesn't have like a big delay. It's a big shield, so it takes a little bit to charge, but it does all right. Those fusion reactors are a huge perk to the shields on the ship. So one other thing, I decided not to change the name on it either. Obviously, it would be a lot of extra work to change the name, and I kind of like the name. I'm just gonna kind of deem this as an alternative timeline, I guess. I know Star Trek has that already going on, and we'll just say that this, it isn't the same Europa that was destroyed in Star Trek Discovery. A different Europa built at a different time, different NCC number, maybe even in an alt timeline. So I know I appreciate the person that pointed out this, and it checked out and all the information was correct and accurate and all that. I just didn't realize it when I did it. I didn't check good enough, I think. But yeah, that in a nutshell is how the ship is, and just kind of flying it around a little bit, kind of get an idea on its, just fly it in third person. It's not a spring chicken, of course. It's not bad though. Granted, it's unloaded, so it's got quite a bit of storage on here. So if you really start adding a lot of weight to the ship, it'll get a little bit slower. But it doesn't feel bad. It kind of feels like I'm flying it around like kind of what you would expect a Star Trek ship to fly around. But keep in mind, you can soup it up with 6 extra XL thrusters that you could add to it if you can find the CPU to add to it. I just didn't want to like cut off access to that so you couldn't do it. And I think, and obviously, if you wanted to, like the last video I did was kind of a quick tutorial on how to switch a hull material of a ship from like steel to carbon, which I did actually on this ship here. You can do that, and that will give you more flight performance out of the ship if you're willing to go to carbon substrate with that. And you could also repeat that same process and replace the Xeno blocks with carbon substrate to give you even a little bit more flight performance. But, currently, I didn't go over that. Here's what the numbers are looking like. Obviously, 34 forward, 34 lift. These are your two biggest right now. Well, actually, it's kind of tied with the reverse thrust as well. And then 17 strafing, 17 down. And again, you could increase both the forward speed, the lift speed, and the strafing speed by adding more XL thrusters to it. The other, I didn't make thruster doors for the rest of them because they're there and they're probably going to stay there, and I didn't feel like ripping more stuff apart to add more complexities to the ship there. So they're just kind of buried inside these nacelle areas here. But yeah, let me know what you think, and just at the end of the day, I guess I got a couple more LCDs. I think I found that were missing, like little door indicator LCDs, and I want to label some more of the storage. But other than that, I don't have much left. O2's checked out, gravity's checked out, the power management, the weapon systems, I think everything's done. Finally, I've been working on this thing for a long time, a lot of revisions, a lot of rebuilding parts of it, or changing this, or changing that, or doing this, and trying to figure out little things that occur, like, the issue that I had with my doors not going down to the ground, and just a lot of things like that, a lot of tweaking things. But I think right now, for the most part, even flying through here, I honestly, I don't think I've seen any texture misplacements or anything like that I know of. If you've seen any along the way, please let me know. And also, I did, these are still marked too. These originally were another row of turrets going across here. And this is back when it was running 16 quantum cores. If you can find the CPU, you can carve out all these blocks here, all the 9 blocks around each one of these symbols over here and across here, and these are all kind of set up for more turrets, which will have a great line of sight on the front of the saucer area and whatnot. I think that's it. I did tweak this out a little bit more yet again. So I had some weird textures down in there, and I got rid of them and just kind of blacked it out. I actually thought it looked better that way than trying to put some textures behind that. I kind of grayed it out, made it kind of funky looking and stuff like that. So as in all these launchers too, if you don't know where they are on the ship, There's artillery launchers way in back on the sides of each nacelles, and in the front of each nacelle. And then there's banks up on the saucer here for more artillery launchers. And then your laser cannons, the 10 laser cannons, you got 6 in the front saucer area, 3 per side, and then there's another bank of those down over here for some additional laser cannons. And part of how I wanted to deem this ship too is it was kind of when I started adding some of these launchers, I specifically wanted to make it look like it was modded to do that, and that's why like this bay down here, those bays up top, and these bays over here kind of look like they're added on maybe to the ship. And it's essentially, at least in lore, it's like they had some problems and they set up this ship to do some particular type of missions, but then realized how hostile the area was. So then they gave it a military upgrade package with shielding and weaponry, and that's kind of what's going on here with all these little banks, and again trying to make some of them look like they were tacked on after the fact, on purpose, literally. So that's kind of what it's about. Anyway, I'm super excited that I got this far with it, and I just wanted to show you the ship and talk about all the different specifications of it. I think I covered everything, but please let me know if I'm missing something, any ideas come to mind, any lingo on my LCDs that looks a little too un-Star Trek-like, or something like that, typos, whatever. Anyway, you all have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you later.